Good morrow everyone, Silvershire here, and the visual design of Tekken's devils is strangely inconsistent. No, I'm not talking about how Devil Kazuya went from looking like a bad Halloween costume to a DMC boss. I'm talking about how the three canon Devil Gene users have very little in common. Back when Kazuya and Jin were the only devils we had seen, it was easy enough to assume that Jin's appearance was an outlier for one reason or another. Maybe he had inherited some sort of holy power from June that mixed with the Devil Gene, or maybe he just looked different because he hadn't fully given in to the evil power. But then we were introduced to Kazumi, who has yet another totally unique devil form for no apparent reason. The in-universe explanation is probably that the Devil Gene mutates from generation to generation or something like that. But I'm more curious about the aesthetic reason. What are the artists trying to communicate about these characters through their designs? As they say, the devil's in the details, so without any further ado, let's get into this. Let's start with perhaps the most obvious difference between them, their wings. Kazuya has your stereotypical devil or demon wings, leathery, spiky, and shaped like those of a bat. Realistically, this is probably just because he's the first devil that Namco came up with and they weren't getting real creative yet. But narratively speaking, it makes sense that Kazuya is the most devilish devil, because he's the only one who fully embraces the Devil Gene. Man, devil is not going to sound like a real word by the end of this video. Jin, meanwhile, has feathery wings, which are usually associated with angels. In case that imagery isn't quite on the nose enough, he sometimes has a single white feather. This is of course because he's meant to be the hero, despite the fact that he, started World War III. Hey, we all have off days. Strangest of all is Kazumi, whose wings appear to be made out of fire. Kazumi is difficult to analyze because we don't know much about her, but she is an assassin, so maybe the fiery wings are a way to make her look more dangerous and lethal. Next, let's talk about color. Kazuya's devil form has purple skin and sometimes a bright red scar depending on the game. Purple is often used in the Tekken series for anything related to the Devil Gene, and for evil magic stuff in general, but its connection to Kazuya specifically may have more to do with its real-world associations. Throughout most of human history, up until the mid-1800s, purple dye was incredibly expensive, so it was reserved for royalty and nobility. Kazuya grew up the son of a millionaire and has dreams of world domination, so his devil form's color may be meant to resemble a king's regalia. Jin undergoes the most minor transformation when it comes to color. His skin gets a little paler, and black markings appear all over his body, but he can still pass for a regular guy with tattoos. Jin tries to suppress his Devil Gene, so just as it's fitting that Kazuya is the most devilish devil, it's fitting that he is the most human devil. Then there's Kazumi, who gets light gray skin with red markings and white hair. It gives her a ghostly appearance, which reflects the fact that she's literally dead, as well as the way she figuratively haunts Heihachi and Kazuya throughout the narrative. Another interesting note is that these characters' devil forms have palettes that match the usual clothing of their human forms. Kazuya mostly wears purple and red, Jin mostly wears black and red, and Kazumi mostly wears white and red. Speaking of clothing, Jin's is unique in that it totally changes when he transforms. His gauntlets become more grotesque and monstrous, his karate pants and belt are replaced by leather, and chains appear around his arms, waist, and legs. For comparison, Kazumi's outfit just gets a little tattered, and Kazuya's doesn't change at all. This distinction ties into the idea that Jin and Devil Jin are separate entities. They have different fighting styles, different personalities, different motivations, and apparently different fashion sense. Jin's version of the Devil Gene is more like a parasite taking control of his body, which explains the organic appearance of his gauntlets. Another thing that's unique about Jin's devil form is that his horns face forward rather than up, reflecting his more aggressive and animalistic personality. He doesn't care about scheming or strategy like Kazuya and Kazumi do. He prefers to rush headfirst into battle. And with that, I'm gonna leave this video here. I'm sorry it was so short, I just didn't have much time this week. However, the upcoming Sub-Zero palette swap should more than make up for it. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I bid thee farewell. Good morrow everyone, Silvershire here, and this video was originally going to be a tier list where I rank every single Street Fighter character based on whether or not I think they should return in Street Fighter 6. Today, we're looking at the cooler Kazuya, yeah I said it, Jin Kazama. But before we begin our analysis, here's a quick refresher course on who Jin is and what we should be looking for in his character design.